All right. See. So, get sound at least. Off the bat, anybody who has watched before may notice a difference with this stream, which is we have no camera. I can't figure out how to get the camera to work. The camera's broken. Trying to mess with it for a while before the stream, which is why I'm a couple minutes late, and I failed to get it to work, so I decided to just go with no camera for now. So no camera today, but you can see my screen, you can see what I'm working on, you can see the chat, and at some point I'll be trying to pull up the top-down camera so we can both look at the microcontroller that I'm working on. Before we dive into that, though, let's at least do an introduction. So hello and welcome. First of all, the voice you're hearing, the ghostly voice you're hearing is me. My name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. On this stream, which I typically do Saturday mornings at this time, around 10 a.m. Central Time, I typically work on CircuitPython related stuff. If you don't know what CircuitPython is, you can learn more at the main website for it here, circuitpython.org. Basically, this is a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers. There's a bunch of pictures of those over here on the downloads page. This project, CircuitPython, allows us to run Python on these tiny computers. You can then plug them into your computer, your big computer, your PC or laptop. They will generally show up like a USB thumb drive. On that drive, there'll be a Python code file. You can go and edit that Python code file, and then as soon as you save it, the microcontroller, the computer on this device here, it's actually going to notice the changes to your code, and it's going to restart itself and execute the latest version of that Python code. And then within the code, you can interact with all sorts of other electronic devices that are connected. So by themselves, these microcontrollers are just little computers, but they typically will have lots of little connections that allow you to hook up other electronic bits and bobs, sensors, lights, buttons, beepers, buzzers, Wi-Fi adapters, Bluetooth antennas, all kinds of things that you can hook up to these devices. And then if you choose to use CircuitPython, you can write some Python code to actually interact with whatever other hardware you hook up to it. So that's the high-level idea. As always, thanks to Adafruit for supporting CircuitPython. Adafruit is a hardware and software company based out of New York, and they are the company that is paying the team of folks who work on CircuitPython. There's a team that works on the project full-time and are paid by Adafruit to do so. There are some folks like me who are paid to work on it part-time, and Adafruit is making that possible by paying those folks. And if you want to help support CircuitPython and Adafruit, one of the easiest ways you can do it is just buying hardware from their website at adafruit.com. And the more they are selling, the keeping the lights on there at the factory and moving factories, actually, as the case is currently, the more they can keep funding CircuitPython. So huge thanks to them, as always, and huge thanks to anybody who purchases from them. Let me find the other chat. Didn't I pop out the other chat? No, pop out the other chat. Okay, here we are. All right. So I don't have a whole lot of a necessarily fixed schedule or fixed idea of exactly what I'm going to look at. I got a couple of tabs open here that I found just running through the contributing page this morning. So we'll look through these. I don't know exactly how long any of these are going to take. Maybe we'll get stuck on one and spend the whole time on it. Maybe we'll work through a couple of them and then go out and look for some more stuff to get into. But I just have a handful of them pulled up. They're just ones I saw in the list here that I think I could try to move forwards on. So that's what I've got lined up. And I think I'm going to start on get to my tabs. I'm going to start on, there's one in the Did I not open that one? There's one in the portal base. Yeah, there, okay, here it is. One in the portal base, which I had my eye on the other day. And I actually, well, back when it was submitted, I mentioned that it failed and how to fix it, but that never did. It never did get fixed by the person who submitted it, which is fine too, right? If they want to submit it but don't have time to come back to it, that's totally cool as well. But I did push the fix to that the other day, and then I did not get to test it, but that's my plan right now, is test it, look it over once again, and then if it's good, we can merge it, which I think it's a good idea. It's basically what this one's about. Portal-based, for anybody that doesn't know, Portal-based is the parent library for things like the PyPortal library, the MagTag library. There's a handful of others, like even I think Funhouse library. There's a handful of them that are based on Portal-based. They tend to be devices with displays and with Wi-Fi access. So what Portal-based allows you to do is create projects that kind of like pull some data from the internet or maybe some picture from the internet and display it on the display. If it's data, then it allows you to kind of format it however you want. Put your strings on whichever part of the display you want. Set your labels, put your values, whichever ones get pulled out of the data from the internet. It's kind of like a helper library that allows you to create that kind of basic project. Pull something from the internet and then format it and display it on the display. And so Portal Base is the parent library, and then there are ones underneath it like PyPortal, Funhouse, and all the others. And they already had a concept of max attempts on the connect method, if I understand this right. Let me get the code too. I probably don't have this pulled yet, so let's clone this. I get the run tunes. I do have a clone. Okay. Well, I pushed the fix of pre-commit. Makes sense. Let's go new. Actually, I have blue still. What do I have blue still? Oh, yeah. Okay, that I think we leave for right now. But basically, what's up with that is the version of Python we were using 217.4. This doesn't work on either Python 3.12 or maybe it's something else with Ubuntu 24.04. I don't know, but one way or another, this does not work on my machine anymore. The new things about my machine are Python 3.12 and Ubuntu 24.04. And then, of course, all the requirements that stem out from there. 3.0.0 does work, so having this change locally allows me to run pre-commit inside of this repo and let it succeed. We talked about that on the meeting last week, so if anyone's interested in that in the weeds more on the last meeting, we talked about that, and the plan, I think, is to kind of do a switch over even to rough, which would kind of take the place of Pylint as well as take the place of black, and also add in a few other capabilities that we don't currently have today, like isort, import sorting, some other stuff. But that's in the weeds. You can take a look back at the meeting if you want to hear more on that. For now, I'm just going to leave the kind of little patch fix here so that I can run it locally. I may not even need to run it. As long as we don't have to change anything else, we don't need to run it. Truthfully, I just want to look at the code. And really, I want to look at the main branch code. I'm still getting used to the fact I'm a new PyCharm. So PyCharm, you used to, bottom right corner, you used to have access to your VCS stuff, but now this is top left. which is the opposite corner. It's kind of an odd choice to make from one version to another in an interface, but one I'm trying to get used to. Could probably move it somehow, but I don't know how. Drag and drop doesn't work. I'm sure there's a setting for it, but I just don't. I know there's a setting somewhere for like disable the whole new interface. I don't really want to do that. I mean, part of me does. The practical part of me doesn't, because I know at some point they'll just break that setting, and then I'll have to adjust the new interface at that point. So I'd probably go and tweak it, but then the thing is, I don't really want to tweak it every time I have to set up a new computer. So look around what's there. And so where is? So I want the connect method. Yeah, connect already has. We're in main right here. This is not the PR branch. This is just main, and connect, it already does have max attempts. Maximum number of attempts to connect to Wi-Fi before failing, and it does default to 10. And I do think there's a delay in between of some time. Well, 3 seconds. Yeah. So that does mean actually 10 attempts. If all 10 of them fail and they all wait 3 seconds, that means you will have waited 30 seconds for this, which is part of what the person here is trying to address, I believe. Let's say get local time, calls surf time, which calls connect. Connect defaults to max attempts 10. Dispatch allows the user to pass max attempts to get local time, which will be passed to surf time and used by connect. I almost want to say, like, what if max attempts was a property? I mean, that's a bigger re-architecture. But if max attempts was a property on the network object, right, network base, if it had like self.max attempts, how's it going, Grover? Good morning. If you had self.max attempts, then you would not need to be passing this around to all the different functions, and they could all just reference self. But I think that that's probably a bigger change, and not something that I would want to just decide and do myself. So I will limit my thoughts on that and just try to consider what we actually have here, which is max attempts existing already in Connect, and then this new PR is basically just adding it to get local time, get surf time, which in turn both call Connect, and this will just pass it down, whatever gets passed through. Like we've set them all to default on to 10, so they do have the same default, which I think makes total sense. Audio sounds choppy on YouTube. I'll check Twitch and see if it's the same. Let me I'll try to move the mic a bit closer to me as well. And in this case, there's no camera to obstruct the view on, so I can also get it right up in front of me. But yeah, I appreciate the heads up. I'll try to go back and watch. I'll go back and watch the video as well and see if I can get a sense for what it's doing. I don't necessarily want to mess with too much live here, and I don't have a whole lot of. Oh, okay, well that's on the wrong thing. I don't know if that will actually affect anything or not. Looks like it might have, because it does look like we're peaking higher. So we might, yeah. Okay, so we might have been routing the sound through the microphone on the webcam that's not working. I wonder if that has anything to do with why the webcam wasn't working. But theoretically, now we should be going through the actual microphone, which is like not only a real microphone and not a webcam, but it's right in front of my face instead of face down on the desk, not working. So potentially we got a bit better there. A bunch of these got added, too many arguments, basically. Kind of makes sense. Some of the functions now, I mean, I don't know what the limit is. None of these are taking that many. Like, maybe I pushed these changes from when I ran the new pylon. That's probably what happened. Yeah. Okay. So some of those got added because of the new pylon that I had to run locally. I think it's fine for now, because ultimately we're gonna either switch to rough or update the pylon anyway. Same on Twitch, still choppy, cutting in and out at higher amplitude. Interesting. Maybe I will. So I am peaking higher in OBS now. What I'm gonna do is just take this bar down a touch. See if maybe that helps anything, but let's see. So there was a limiter. Definitely was a I'm trying to blank on the word. Noise gate. I've just made it to the screen for it. There was a noise gate. It looks like the noise gate's still effective. I can just turn it off for now. I think. At that point, you get background. You're not hearing the music, are you? No, that's like background. Okay, so I did have a noise gate. It does look like the noise gate was cutting out at least a little bit of a low hum or whatever, because I can see when I stop talking now in OBS, we're still registering some greens down at the bottom end of the bar. If I sound better to you, I'll leave it like this. But if the background noise is too much or whatever, or if it was better the other way, even though it was still messed up some, let me know and I'll switch it back. Or if it didn't make a difference, let me know. Because I'm also like, my OBS is kind of going crazy right now. I don't necessarily convinced the changes that I'm making are for sure going to be coming through and actually doing anything. But it seems to me like I disabled the noise gate that was there. And what I'll do is, if I do sound better now, but just with background noise, then I will, sometime before next week, try to tweak the stuff on the noise gate. Maybe the new everything on my computer has made it so it just needs different values or whatever. New audio drivers, new Ubuntu, new everything. Can't tell the difference. Still choppy, difficult to understand. Bummer. Let me try to make sure I don't have anything else turned on. It actually shows the audio capture turned off. That's weird. I guess the just counts separate because it's an audio mixer. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not a lot that I can or am gonna try to do about it during the stream. So maybe I'll cut the stream off a bit early today if it's really impossible to understand me or something. But I'll have to jack with it sometime. I mean, I have to. It's probably not the right term, but I prefer to mess with it when I'm not actually on the stream, because I don't want to accidentally crash OBS and end up having to reboot or anything. thank you for the heads up, though. I do definitely appreciate knowing that it's not working very well. And I am going to change one more thing and then pry myself away from trying to jack with it too much right now. Audio monitoring. I don't even know what that is. Mute output? Okay. We'll try to do our best with this. If it's unbearable, then I may just cut it off a bit early, but I'll try to go like this a bit and just try to speak as clearly as I can for now and do the best we can for the moment. Yeah, again, thank you for the heads up, though. I definitely do appreciate knowing that it's not working right. Were you around last week? Was it the same last week? I'll go back and look at both videos. A better description is that the audio amplitude is pulsing like a guitar tremolo pedal. Interesting. Let me see if I can. It's really hard to like hear myself where your voice is choppy. Try changing your mic. Yeah. I mean, I just don't have another mic to use right now. I'm not really gonna bother trying to change it out live. I'm probably just gonna call it a day, actually, if I'm like completely unbearable. Here, let me go and look. It's just not my day. Camera's not working, mic's not working. Last week was okay. This is a new effect. That is insane because I have no. What would that be? I have no. Let me sit and think for a minute. I don't think I changed anything since last week. But I mean, obviously the camera's broken, so something's messed up. Alright, let me go and hear it for a second, and then that way I can hear what it sounds like. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna tap out for today and maybe just work on a bit here on my own, and then try to mess with it before next week. Okay. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I definitely hear what you're talking about. And that is basically unbearable. The noise limiter I did turn back on. I'll turn it back off again. So the noise limiter is back off right now, so let me wait until YouTube catches up and I can hear it this way. So test, no noise limiter anymore. Oops, I just clicked the wrong thing. Yeah, and it's basically still doing the same, like basically the same thing you said, right? It doesn't really sound like there's any difference to me either. How about now? 1 2 1 2. Check. No, that's not any better either. All right. I'm just gonna tap for now. I don't necessarily want to sit here and jack with it, and it's basically not. I don't necessarily want anyone to sit and try and watch it in this condition necessarily either. So, So anyway, thanks for trying. Thanks for the heads up. Appreciate it, C. Grover, and over on YouTube as well, friend, if you're still around. Badak. Hopefully, fingers crossed, will be a bit better for next week. I'll try and mess with it here locally and see if I can get it figured out. It may have been when you were talking softly. Yeah, I mean, something is messed up, though, because I don't feel like I'm talking much different than I normally do, and I'm trying to speak more clearly now, and I still have YouTube playing in my ear, which is why I'm probably talking all slow and weird. And it's definitely still messed up. I hear exactly what you're talking about, how it's cutting out. It's like almost still legible, but you have to focus so much harder to try and understand, and I'm sure there will be some stuff that's not really legible. Let me check the stream. I almost wonder, is this a frames? No, it says no dropped frames. Says excellent here. Bit rate. I don't know. Yeah, thank you for the heads up, though. Sorry for the not really stream for the day, but I'll try to get fixed up and better for next week. Excuse me. But yeah, hope everyone does have a good weekend, and I'll check you later. I may pop in if I can't get it working. Then maybe I'll pop in on Monday or tomorrow sometime. I don't know exactly for sure when, but as always, you can follow and subscribe and that sort of stuff if you want notifications for that. But yeah, thanks for the heads up again. Sorry again for the dropout today, but hopefully we'll be back better next week.